Cape Verde has 525,000 people. Curaçao has 185,000 people. That is smaller than most football stadiums combined. One of them held Spain to a draw. The other made a goalkeeper break a World Cup record. Neither of them was supposed to be here. This is not luck. This is a pattern, and it goes back almost 100 years. The 2026 World Cup has 48 teams. Most of the attention goes to the giants: France, Brazil, Argentina, Spain. But the real story of this tournament is being written by countries most people cannot find on a map. Here is why the smallest nations keep embarrassing the biggest ones, and why it is not actually surprising at all. Cape Verde is the smallest country by land area and the second least populated nation ever to qualify for a World Cup. A population just under 525,000 people. Their opponent in their first ever World Cup match? Spain, reigning European champions. Winners of 4 European titles, more than any country in history. The result? 0-0. Cape Verde's first ever point at a World Cup, earned by shutting out one of the most dangerous attacks on the planet. Cape Verde has the same population as Murcia, a single city in Spain, not even one of Spain's largest cities. A city held a country to a draw. Curaçao qualified with a population of 185,490 people, the smallest nation ever to play at a World Cup. Their first match was brutal, a 7-1 defeat to Germany. Their second match was historic, against Ecuador, a team that had just finished second in South American qualifying. Curaçao did something nobody expected. Goalkeeper Eloy made 15 saves, a men's World Cup record tied with Tim Howard's legendary performance against Belgium in 2014. Ecuador took 28 shots, 15 of them on target, the most shots on target without scoring in a World Cup match since 1966. A nation of 185,000 people just produced one of the greatest goalkeeping performances in tournament history. Here is what nobody explains. How does a country this small even build a World Cup squad? Curaçao's program started with one player. Eloy reached out to people he grew up with in the Netherlands, recruiting them one by one, the way a college coach builds a roster. I was basically the first player who switched nationalities, said, and after that, more players kept coming. Cape Verde did the same thing. Defender Roberto Lopes was first contacted through a LinkedIn message, a World Cup defender, recruited on LinkedIn. These are not accidental teams. They are built deliberately, player by player, by nations who know they cannot compete on population, so they compete on connection. This is not new. Iceland reached the 2018 World Cup with the smallest population in tournament history at the time. They drew with Argentina in their opening match, and goalkeeper Hannes Halldórsson saved a penalty from Lionel Messi himself. Uruguay remains the smallest nation to ever win a World Cup, with a population of 1.5 million in 1930. They did it again in 1950 with 2.2 million people. The pattern is not random. Small nations with almost nothing in resources keep finding ways to compete with countries 100 times their size. Here is the part nobody says out loud. A giant nation has hundreds of professional clubs, millions of players to choose from, and the pressure of an entire country expecting victory. A nation of 185,000 people has none of that. What they have instead is unity. Every single player knows what it means to represent their entire population in a stadium of 60,000 people. You know how far we've come, basically from nothing. There is no panic in a team that already overachieved just by being there. There is no fear of embarrassment in a nation nobody expected anything from in the first place. The giants play with the weight of history. The smallest nations play with nothing to lose. Cape Verde still has to face Uruguay and Saudi Arabia to have a chance at the knockout rounds. Curaçao still has to beat Ivory Coast to keep their dream alive. Neither one is guaranteed to advance, but neither one needs to. They already proved the point. A population smaller than most cities can still walk onto the biggest stage in football and make the giants nervous. That is not an upset. That is just what happens when you have nothing to lose and everything to prove. Which small nation do you think goes furthest in this tournament? Drop it in the comments. The game has not changed. The size of the stage has. You're welcome.